So let's just start off by telling me a little bit about uh, what you do or what company you're with, or a little bit about cigar, the tobacco, just in general, just so that everybody understands. So,
So, part owner of Historic Cigars of Longwood. We've been here for 4 years now, almost three and a half, 4 years. Um, my partner is MJ Frias, cigar company in Dominican Republic, as well as Nicaragua. So we make everything. Everything is handmade uh,
so you
in
do
Dominican
both
Republic and
in
Nicaragua.
Nicaragua,
Yeah, both places.
and you know, a lot of cigars or a lot of companies utilize your the tobacco that you guys use, or
Yes, we make cigar. We make private labels for a lot of big companies, and of course we
right?
can't say
Yeah,
who, but yeah, we make cigars for a lot of companies.
a lot of brands that you may know that are famous or that's around. You'd be surprised to know that this gentleman and the company that he's with are responsible for a lot of cigars without disclosing who they are. It's a reputable cigar,
Yeah.
reputable company, reputable tobacco, and that's pretty much all we could say about that for the moment. Now, right now we're having seltzer water, and that was a topic we were talking about earlier. Was what do most people pair a cigar with? Is usually the typical coffee, whiskey, and rum, but there are non-alcoholic beverages that are perfect. Like you picked seltzer water. You can explain why you like seltzer water.
For some reason, I don't know why, but the seltzer water, every time you take a taste, it cleans your palate. So that puff you take after that sip, it's just another clean puff. Like if it was a brand new puff, because it's not, it just cleans your palate, so it's nice and smooth. Um, but I remember the other day we were talking about, you brought up the whole tea conversation. That
Right, that's
some,
right.
yeah,
Yep.
and a lot of people never talk about that.
Yeah.
They always, like you said, always say coffee, and and then the alcoholic drinks, but that's a whole different subject.
Yeah.
But nobody has, like, it's very rare that you go to a cigar shop and they offer you
Tea.
tea.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely a good choice.
Yeah, I find because the teas, you have the regular black tea, and that's with, a lot of teas, but teas are also made up of cinnamon, there's green tea. There's so many forms of teas that it actually enhances the tobacco because the tobacco blends with it nicely. Pairing is something that I think we don't talk a lot about, but it can help enhance the flavor or at least cleanse the palate.
You know what just came up to the mind? Try one day passion fruit.
Mm, I've never tried that.
So you know how that passion fruit just hits like the back of the tongue under, like with that tingly.
Yeah.
You try that, and it's gonna amaze you.
See,
Yeah.
I've never thought about trying that. See, there's so many things you can try. It's endless. It's amazing what you will discover that goes well with a cigar.
Yeah.
I was mentioning Malta the other day.
Malta, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
Malta.
people haven't even tried that yet, and to me, that's like fantastic.
Yeah.
For like a mild to a medium cigar, because it's not overpowering, but you kind of have to have something to go along with it.
Yeah,
That,
because Malta is really rich on like that sweet molasses
Mhm. That's why
flavor.
I
Yeah.
really like it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it enhances the smoking experience. I won't say it would enhance the tobacco, but it enhances the experience. That's one thing I find that I enjoy. Um, Speaking of, this is a topic I think is not mentioned a lot, and this is for new people or people that smoke infused cigars. We were talking about this earlier. A lot of people's first introduction to tobacco or cigars, they usually go the route of infused cigars. And I don't know how you feel about that, but I know me personally, I don't shy away from the fact that that's something that got them to start their cigar journey, but sometimes I think it can hinder it because they have a tendency to stay there.
Yes. So I can only speak in my experience of over the years. Uh, I'll start with the experience here at the cigar lounge. You get a lot of guys, especially guys coming in that they're like, yeah, I'm looking for, and they mention a flavor cigar. I don't want to mention any names, of course,
Right.
but I'm like, do you usually smoke that? They're like, yeah, I started smoking, and that's what I started, and pretty much, in other words, they got stuck there.
Right. Right.
And I'm like, can I give you something? And I always got this line. I always tell them, if you don't like it, I'll pay for it. I've always said that. And it's not that I want to steer them away from the flavor or infused cigars, but I want them to have the real experience of real tobacco.
Right.
You know,
That's the thing, man.
and that's what that's what it should be about.
Yeah.
You know, nothing infused and nothing flavored. That's not really, and I'm sure we're gonna get to another subject after that. That it's gonna be very interesting.
Yeah.
But it's all a matter of handing that person the right cigar or the right tobacco at the beginning. That is not gonna be overpowering. It's not gonna be something that's gonna hit them too hard,
hard.
and then they're gonna move their way up.
And that's the thing that I find a lot of people when they first start. You can listen to your buddy, but make sure your buddy is giving you good advice. A lot of people will start off with something that their friend likes, and maybe their friend likes something too powerful for them, and can turn them off from their whole journey.
Yes.
Like, what is the recommendation that you do for people? Like, when you're talking to someone that had infused, that liked infused, what do you usually recommend for them?
So I had a couple people tell me, man, I cigars are great, but I had one for the first time, and it just I couldn't do another one because it just hit me so hard. And I'm like, what did you smoke? A Padron? And I'm like, you can't start off with a Padron. There's no way. I mean,
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I've always steered them towards Macanudo, Connecticut,
Yeah,
Romeo Julieta, Monte Cristo, something very light, a number two.
just to get them to start,
Yeah, exactly.
tasting something, or we don't want to turn you off from it. We want to
Exactly.
We want your journey to be fruitful.
Yeah.
Meaning that you're always going to be looking to plant another seed, try another one, and keep going, moving your way up, up your palate, so to speak. And that was another question that we had talked about before, was when people pair something. I know we were talking about, some people say, you could only try this scotch with this cigar, and that's the only thing that can go with it. And I know that
Yeah.
we had a conversation about that before. That
The sommelier, what is it?
the sommelier,
Sommeliers.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't agree 100% with all of them. I'm not saying they're wrong. It's just my opinion, and
Yeah.
I don't want to step on anybody's toes.
I'm a som, by the way, so I know what you're saying, and that's something I try not to do. It's just my recommendation.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about before, everybody's palate is different.
Completely different.
And people don't realize that. Like when we talk about someone that gives a cigar review, and they're saying that they taste, there's basic flavors, chocolate, the coffee, and things like that you may pick up on, but some people go to the extreme. And, I don't want to get into it, but it's funny sometimes when you hear half the descriptions that they give for a cigar. It makes me laugh, And we were talking about before, I think you mentioned somebody said fish or something like that.
What? Come on, man. I mean, it's either a good cigar that you're gonna keep smoking, or it's a cigar that's not your palate. I don't
Right.
want to say it's a bad cigar, because there's no bad cigar, because a lot of times you smoke a cigar and you cannot say, oh, it's not, the cigar is no good, because somebody else right next to you might smoke it and be like, this is my cigar.
Yes.
So it's either it's a good cigar or it's not your palate.
Right.
It's that simple.
See, like when we talk about with palate, a palate to me is something that, best way I can say it is, if you grew up in a household that used a lot of different ingredients and different spices, your palate may be able to pick up things that maybe someone else that had like didn't use so many spices. You
Yeah.
may be able to pick up something like cinnamon.
Like we were saying, it bring you back memories of that
I really
moment.
believe that that's what happens when we have a cigar.
Yeah.
It triggers something that is familiar to you. Maybe it's nostalgic. Maybe it's something that your mom made, you know, when you were a little kid, and then all of a sudden you're having this cigar, and boom, you
Yes.
may not be able to recognize what it is, but something about it makes you say, "I like this."
Yeah,
You know?
definitely. Definitely.
So, you know, another thing I wanted to talk about, we had a conversation a while back about consistency with a cigar or a certain brand of cigar, and we both know that consistency is a really hard thing to nail down. And you can explain, you know, what I mean by, you know, the type of harvest you have.
So it comes down to a lot of it comes down to the soil. Number one, number two, weather. Weather is never the same. You know, there's years that you get a lot of rain. There's years you don't get enough rain. And we all know how the weather's changing constantly. You know, every year it's just different. So a lot of these companies they have a way to achieve a consistency on their cigars, and you once you know the real physics of it, you wonder how can they do that. And I don't there's only one way to explain it once you're in the process and in the in the whole system of cigars. They there's something else added on the cigars, and I don't want to get into the whole
This is the thing that, you know, we're giving you a little insider thing, and we're not trying to get anybody in trouble or say anything. But honestly, you have to really say something about consistency. Consistency is a very important thing, and you can harness that by fermentation and by
Yes.
aging a cigar or tobacco before and after.
So I would say it's a percentage. 1% is it's I mean and it's all parts of the in percentages, but that last percentage they reach to the wrapper always looking the same on a box. They never miss a beat. There's only one way that they can achieve that.
And what's that?
we don't. I don't think we want to talk about that. Not on camera.
Yeah, but there's the thing, you know, and we're not calling anybody out, because I would say, without saying it, people are doing it.
Yeah.
Companies are doing it. But if you like it, you like it, and if you don't, you don't. But
Yeah, it's all back to the same thing. It's all about palate. If you enjoy that cigar, keep smoking it. No, don't worry about it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Now, I noticed your shirt says tobacco. Can you tell me what's that about?
Yeah, so that's a brand I started off almost 15 years ago, but it was a small boutique brand that we started, and right now we're in production. We're coming back out. Hopefully before 2025 will be out. It's been we're jumping through some hurdles and everything, but yeah.
Where's it coming from? What region is coming from?
Dominican Republic. Yeah, Dominican Republic. It's gonna be the Dominican puro.
Okay.
No additives, no dyes, no nothing. It's gonna be straight tobacco. Yeah, we're not gonna do we're not gonna do any tricks or
You're
anything
gonna
like
do
that.
the traditional way.
Yeah, 100% tobacco, natural tobacco.
I look forward to that one as well.
Yeah.